Hello everyone, welcome to Even the Scales. Thank you for clicking on my video today and I hope you're all having a good day. My name's Donna and I'm back on here again today for the simple reason that I have to protect myself again from the abuse that I'm being put through here in Campbelltown, New South Wales by the majority of the community. First of all though, I'd just like to do an acknowledgement of country and acknowledge the Dharawal people who are the true custodians of the land that I bring you these messages on today. I would also like to pay respect to elders past and present, as well as extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are watching this video today. For those of you who haven't seen any of my videos in the past, the justice system have teamed up with the health system here in New South Wales to pay the community to put me through extreme psychological abuse, to either cause me to lose hope in my life or to cause me a major health episode. The health system is also hiding vital information from me about my health, and they have been doing this for around a year, and they're doing this because they are just hoping that those health conditions get worse. I also wanted to bring up something that I talked about in a video that I recorded on the 19th, which was last Tuesday. And I mentioned in that video how there are certain stores that have been involved in this that I go into that are involved in this abuse, carrying out cruel abuse. And I just wanted to mention this again because I just wanted to show everyone just how cruel these people are. What they do, they watch everything I do, and they base the abuse that they carry out on the things I do, the things I say, the things I watch, and they create abuse out of that. And I wrote a comment last Tuesday using my YouTube account, and I wrote this comment, and the comment was about how my family have stolen an inheritance from me and other parts of my life. That is why they are involved in this abuse. They have stolen an inheritance, and I wrote this comment online, and the comment was about how they had stolen that inheritance and how they have pretended that I've already passed away, because this is what my family have done. They have just purposely isolated me as a part of this psychological abuse. They have teamed up with the justice system, and they have just, in their minds, I've already passed away. This is what they've done. Anyway, I wrote a comment about this, and this store must have people watching, because there's a camera in my house too that I'll get to in a minute. For those of you who have seen my videos before, you already know this. I'm being watched in my home by the justice system and members of the community. And this store must have watchers that watch me in my home, that watch everything I do, because they are involved in this. And after I wrote that comment about how, my family have just abandoned me, stolen from me, and then just pretended that I've already passed away, because I haven't heard from any of them for over a year. This store, they use music to carry out psychological abuse, and they've done it many, many times over the past year, and there's a few stores that do it. And I went into that store on this day, and they played a few songs to try and manipulate my mind. But one of them, the words to the song that I mentioned in that video on the 19th that I recorded, I said that the words were something to the tune of, "Do you feel like someone's buried you alive?" Those are the words that I said. Well, I actually looked that song up, and it's actually that song Firework by Katy Perry. And the words were actually, do you feel already buried deep, 6 feet under, screams, but no one seems to hear a thing. So this is how cruel these people are that are carrying out this abuse. You know, they know that I've lost my family. They know what they have done to me, and this is the kind of thing they're doing. So I just wanted to point that out. And it's not the first time that a Katy Perry song has been used by these groups to carry out abuse. It's actually around the third time that they have done this. They also have used other songs as well. I watch a lot of ghost hunter shows, ghost hunters and ghost adventures. I watch all of them. There's a lot of them. And they know this. They watch everything that I watch on my TV and on my social media. They monitor. And it was last week as well, I went into one of these stores, and because I'd watched a ghost hunter show that day, they played the song Ghostbusters when I went into the store by Ray Parker Jr. There was also a day last week where this same store must have been listening to my videos that I have been creating here, because obviously they want to know how close they are to being caught for what they've been doing. And I had mentioned on one of these videos that I've made how the health department is hiding information about my health, and that I have good reason to believe that I've had a stroke and my left side has been affected from that stroke. And so when I went into this store, they played that song, Pass the Dutchie, to the left-hand side. So this is how cruel they are. This is how cruel the psychological abuse is, and this is how cruel these stores are. They're using music, and it's only that I'm so intuitive that I pick up on this. And, you know, that is the whole point of what the justice system is doing here. They are trying to make me look paranoid. They are trying to make me look delusional. If I go to people and say they are playing that song deliberately for my benefit to abuse me, of course, people are going to say I'm delusional, I'm paranoid. That is the whole goal of what the justice system is trying to do here. They're trying to cause me a mental health episode. They're trying to make me have a mental health breakdown in public with witnesses so that they can call an ambulance. And my answer to that is that if I was a paranoid, delusional person, if you really think about it, how on earth would I have got through 12 months, over 12 months of experiencing MK Ultra mind control? There is no way a paranoid, delusional person would be able to get through 12 months of MK Ultra. If you go online and you look up MK Ultra and see the effects of what MK Ultra has on most people take their lives within a short time of experiencing MK Ultra. Or they go crazy and they get committed to mental health wards. This is what they're trying to do to me. So I just want to point that out, that there is no way a paranoid, delusional person would be able to have got through MK Ultra for over 12 months and still be sitting here to tell the story. But this is what they're trying to do. These stores are very, very cruel with the abuse they're using. And yeah, they've got someone watching me in my home. They're watching everything I do. They've invested a lot of time into this. And my neighbour, by the way, is still sending that filthy tobacco through into my home. She's been doing it all day. I don't have to put up with this. And she's doing it right now. She's doing it right now. She's doing it to deliberately try and affect my health and my breathing. And she's also watching me on camera. The justice system have placed a camera in my home. It's in my smoke alarm for anyone out there who hasn't seen my story before. They've placed a camera in my home. They also track my vehicle everywhere I go. All of my devices can be seen, and it's not just the police that can watch me in my home and track me and see my devices. It is my neighbour, my neighbours. Most of the neighbours around me are involved in carrying out abuse. There might be one or two that aren't, but they would have known it was going on. There's no way you would not know. And this woman that's sending this smoke through into my home now, she's watching me. She watches me. This woman is obsessed. I swear to God, this woman does nothing else with her time whatsoever. She is obsessed. It's really, really sad. It really is. But anyway, that stall must have someone watching me. They're invested in this somehow, whether they got money invested in it or what. They're doing it for the justice system, and they're using the information that they're gaining from my home and the things that they're watching me talk about and the things that they're watching me view. And they're creating abuse based on that. So this is why the justice system, the police, are allowing the community to watch me in my home so that they can come up with creative ways to abuse me. It's not just the neighbours, it's just random members of the community that can watch me in my home. There are people living within meters of me that watch me in my home. They carry out abuse, and then they are able to watch my reaction to that abuse. My family are also watching me through that camera. Abusers from my past are also watching me on that camera. And all of these people are able to view my devices. They're able to see everything that I do on my devices, all of my personal information. They also can see everywhere I'm going because they're tracking me. My vehicle's tracked, and there's also a listening device in my vehicle. So there's just not, they just watch every single detail of my life from the minute I get up to the minute I go to sleep. Even through the night, I have neighbours stalking me and carrying out abuse. Lately, the abuse has been very, very intense because the truth's getting out about what's been happening here, what the justice system are doing, and because the truth's getting out, the abuse that I am being put through is very, very severe and very intense. And some of these neighbours have just done so much to me over the past year that they are just panicking and they just will not stop abusing me. They are just relentless, obsessed people, and I want this to stop. When I go out, it's like I have to cross a minefield. My whole day is like crossing a minefield, walking through a minefield. That's what it's like, because I just have people constantly setting traps, constantly carrying out cruel psychological abuse, neighbours provoking me all day long, all day, every day and into the night. And when I try and go to bed and go to sleep, this is when they amp the abuse up, like because they know that it's the end of the day, I'm tired, and they're just trying to attack me when I'm trying to go to sleep. And I just want this to stop. This is just not on. No one should have to go through this. And yeah, just getting through every day is a matter of staying alive for me. It really is. And, you know, now I'll probably go to a shop tomorrow, one of these stores, and they'll probably play the song Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. This is how cruel they are. So I have neighbours that are living very close to me that are trying to take my life because they have done so much, and they are panicking. they were expecting a lump sum payment when I got sick or when I passed away. And they must be delusional if they think that they're getting away with this. There's so much truth out there now about these people. And it's like they're just putting me through this intense abuse. They won't stop. I'm speaking about how they're trying to take my life on this platform, and they're still doing it 24 hours a day. This woman just will not stop breathing her filthy secondhand smoke that's been in her disgusting lungs into my home. There's neighbours that are connected to my home. There's 3 of them. Something's been rigged up where these people can put on their exhaust fans. It's got to be through their exhaust fans. It's got to be. There's no other way. It's been sucked up through the roof, and it's been all diverted into my home. My landlord's involved in this. My landlord is involved in this, and they know. They know this is going on. This has been rigged. Once again, they're trying to make me look delusional. They're trying to make me have to call the police. They're trying to make me have to need help, because then they want to be able to come out here and say, no, this isn't happening to you. You're not smelling these smells, because they want to be able to say that I'm schizophrenic, and I'm not. This is happening to me. It's been happening to me for over a year. And the amount of evidence that I've built up on this platform about what these people have been doing, there's just far too much truth out there now. And there's something where they have rigged it up in the roof so that if she turns on her exhaust fan and she sends her cigarette smoke up into my roof, into her exhaust fan, it's been diverted into my roof. And there's 3 neighbours that are able to do this. They have all been doing it, and it's just not on. Like, no one should have to smell someone's secondhand disgusting cigarette smoke in their home. I don't even smoke. She's doing this deliberately to affect my health. I want people to know this. These 3 neighbours also have access to a gas stovetop, which is directly underneath this range hood. So the fact that this woman, I'm exposing her and what she's doing on this platform, she's still reckless enough to be doing it right now. She's sending smoke through into my house right this minute. She's staining all my walls, my furniture. She's also attacking me through the night while I'm trying to sleep with this smoke. I don't know if she's doing it when I leave the house as well. She could be doing it when I leave the house, and it's just like making my walls yellow. But they have access to this gas hot plate. And, you know, if this woman's reckless enough to be continuing to do this after I have said that she is trying to affect my health, to cause me a very serious mental health problem or a physical health problem with my breathing, she wants me to lash out at her. She wants me to get angry. She's constantly provoking me. What do you expect? Anyone would be fed up with someone's filthy smoke smell coming through into their home when it's being done deliberately, and then she's sitting back watching me on camera, watching me suffer. And she's enjoying it. This is the kind of person that's getting fun out of it, and she's not the only one. There's other people here that are actually doing this for their entertainment. They do it for their fun. It's sick. And they've been doing it so long. These people have had access to watching me on camera for over a year. They've put me through so much over the past year. I'm a good tenant here. I don't harm anyone. All I do is stick up for myself. And she's trying to provoke me to get me angry so that I lash out at her, and then she can call the police. or she is trying to deliberately affect my breathing. These people know more about my health conditions than I do, because they have been informed of what's wrong with the health conditions that are being kept from me. They've also been informed of my personal health conditions that I do know about, and they are using them because they know. She's listening. She knows that I have an asthma preventer at this time of year. So she's trying her best to try and trigger an asthma attack. So I want this known. I want this known. This is this woman. She lives very close to me. She's a heavy smoker. She smokes that tobacco that you buy under the counter, that unlabeled stuff. And all she is doing, she must just stand at her range hood from the minute she gets up to the minute she stops. And sometimes this is 3 a.m. in the morning. She is constantly just blowing this filth through into my house. I don't have to put up with this. I do not have to put up with this. And I'm going to expose this woman every single chance I get, because this is my health. This is my home. This is my private life, my privacy that she is invading. And she's still got the hide to be doing this right now. She's doing this right now. She's cruel, she's relentless, and she's watching me suffer, and she's enjoying it. And there's a few of them doing this. There's a few of them doing things. There's also a male that's adjoined to my home that stalks me. This person they used to leave their house, that they haven't left their house since this abuse started. This person is obsessed. These people do nothing else with their lives but stalk, abuse, stalk, abuse, stalk, abuse. It's all they do. And they've been doing it for so long that it's like they can't control themselves. They can't go half an hour without carrying out abuse. I don't deserve this. No one deserves to be abused like this. And it's the same thing when I go out. It's the same thing. And these neighbours it's like they live to abuse me. It is their life. It is the highlight of their life. When they were given access to this, they must have thought that like all their Christmases had come at once, because they had that power over another person. And they stalk me aggressively. When I go, they stalk me if I'm about, like I was getting ready to leave my home this morning and go out, and a neighbour, there's another neighbour, she watches me. She hasn't stopped stalking me either for over a year. She watches everything I do, and she knew that I was about to leave the home. They see me get my bag, and they see me get ready, and then she was waiting for me. She just waits down there and she does something to try and trigger me. And it's the same when I come home. They're listening to me in my car, because there's a microphone in my car. There could be a camera in my car for all I know. But I know there's a microphone that they listen to as well, so they know when I'm heading home. So they all prepare themselves and they go outside and set something up. And today it's Power Tool Day. It's like they have different themes that they use. Today's Power Tool Day, and this is because this time last year they're trying to remind me of the trauma that I went through this time last year. This time last year, I spent 5 weeks in the Campbelltown Public Hospital, where I was put through 5 weeks of psychological torture, where the health system teamed up with the justice system to do this to me. It was all totally set up. When I got out of the hospital, the neighbours around here that have been involved in the abuse, they used power tools to try and drive me crazy. And this was on a grand scale. There would be like 4 or 5 neighbours at once using power tools. So today was Power Tool Day. It was remind Donna of last year's trauma when she got out of the hospital, because it was around this time. So they're trying to trigger that trauma in me right now. And when I come home today, this neighbour, he had listened for when I had got in my car to come home from the shops, and he had got his power tools started up, ready for when I come home. And, you know, like I know people are allowed to use power tools. I get that. But today there's been 3 people using power tools at the same time, and they're doing this to try and trigger that trauma. So, yeah, this is how aggressively these neighbours stalk me. It's all they do. It is really, really sad. It really is that this is all they do with their lives. When I went out today, there was tens of people stalking me again in their cars and on foot. So these people are either watching me in my home as well. There are random members of the community watching me in my home, and they stalk me according to the things that they see me doing in my home. They get ideas. And yeah, I was stalked today in cars and on foot. This neighbour is still putting smoke through into my house right now, trying to choke me with her filthy. This smoke is just the most disgusting smell. It's not like normal cigarette smell. It is foul. It really is. I should not have to put up with this. And it is choking. It's disgusting. And when it comes through, it just takes over my whole home, the way it's coming through into my home. And, you know, someone needs to take responsibility for this woman. They do. I don't know who, whether the landlord needs to step up and do something about her. St George Community Housing needs to do something about her. Needs to do something about all these abusive neighbours, to be honest. And they tell me to call the police. The police are watching me in my home. They watch these neighbours abuse me, the Campbelltown police. The Campbelltown police watch these neighbours abuse me. They watch me suffer through all the abuse, and they stalk me and abuse me as well. So, yeah, there's no help. There's no help, and this is to try and make me give up hope in my life. That's why I had to create this channel. That's why I have to speak about it on here, to let people know what's going on. But someone needs to take responsibility for this woman. Because she's out of control. She's trying to take my life. She's deliberately trying to cause me a breathing episode, and she works hard at it day and night. She never stops. So I hope there's someone listening to this now that's going to do something about her, because she obviously can't control herself. She can't go half hour without not hurting me, and she's enjoying it. I mean, obviously, it's all she does. So, yeah, when I went out today, I was stalked by many people on foot at the shopping centre, in the stores I went into, in their cars, in the car park. I was stalked all the way home. And, yeah, these people are either watching me in my home, or they are getting the information from somewhere, whether the information's been put up on an app or some sort of website. I'm not sure, but these people are getting this information, and they are using it to carry out cruel psychological abuse when I go out in public places. They are doing this to try and trigger a mental health episode. And today, yeah, must have been my worst traumas day. That was the day, that was the theme of the day. They were trying to trigger my worst possible traumas, and they usually use anything that I talk about on these videos too. They must take notes when I'm talking about things on these videos, and they do more of it, which is precisely why my neighbour's doing what she's doing now. Yeah. So today, yeah, it was trigger my worst traumas, and they have been trying to remind me of the hospital experience. But, you know, all it really does is just give me an excuse to talk about these things again on my channel. So these people are really only hurting themselves. Today they were trying to, they sent lookalikes towards me of people that abused me when I went through the hospital experience. They sent one that looked like the cleaner, and the cleaner, when I was in that hospital, she was extremely cruel and mean. And they also sent one that looked like one of the fake patients that they had set up there. And they also sent one that looked like one of the cruel doctors that were there at the hospital. So this is what they're doing. And once again, of course, if I say this to anyone, I'm going to look delusional. The justice system and health system have obviously done this to people in the past and got away with it. But they just have never done it to someone that's as intuitive as me, that sees what they're trying to do. So yeah, they're using lookalikes. They also used the fact that I've lost my grandchildren. My grandchildren are still here, thank goodness. They're still well and living happy lives, but they're not in my life, and this breaks my heart every single day. It's probably one of the worst things that I've ever had to experience, and this is one of the things that they try and make me relive every time I leave the house. I get these, there's a lot of grandmothers because, yeah, I'm a grandmother of 5 grandchildren who I miss dearly. And I get grandmothers they come close to me and they try and get as close to me as possible. And they will say things to try and trigger me. Yeah, and the fact that my grandchildren aren't in my life. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, it hurts. It hurts me a lot. It does. It stabs me in the heart every time it happens. And I just don't know how women can do this to other women. I can't even imagine ever doing this to anybody. But yeah, this is what they're doing. So yeah, they were using my worst traumas today. They were also trying to trigger me in regards to, see, one of the things that the justice system's covering up here is that they're covering for a police officer that has committed very violent and despicable crimes against women. And so they used something today to try and trigger me in regards to that. And I'm telling you, that was just so cruel, that abuse. But yeah, they used that. They also used the fact that on one of my previous videos, I mentioned how a part of the abuse a few months ago when I went out was that I was leaving the shopping centre, coming out of the driveway, and I go past a McDonald's. And as I was just turning out of the driveway, they got a pedophile that I reported to the police in 2020, that the police have done nothing about. And the reason they have done nothing about that person is because it's all part of this psychological abuse they have been carrying out on me. They just don't want me to receive justice in regards to that pedophile. So what they did on this day, they got that pedophile to walk across in front of my car as I pulled out the driveway. And that pedophile was actually going into McDonald's during a busy lunch hour. Yeah. And I mean, the justice system know this. I mean, they're behind all this. They set that up. And today they tried to reenact that. So this is what they're trying to do. They got someone that looked just like that person and got them to do the same thing. Now, you know, once again, people can say that I'm paranoid, that I'm delusional by saying these things, but I am very, very intuitive, and I know what's going on here. I know exactly what they're doing, and they want to be able to say that. They want so much to be able to say that I'm delusional, and this is why they are going to such extremes to carry out this abuse, because they want it to sound unbelievable. Because it does sound unbelievable. This is a conspiracy theory that's going on here. These kind of things are actually going on, and people need to know about this. Because, yeah, they've done this to people in the past. they're going to get away with it and do it to who knows how many people in the future. There's also a person around here that tries to use children all the time to hurt me, and it does hurt me. It does. It hurts me very much because, yeah, like my grandchildren were the highlight of my life. I love them very much, and I just constantly have people using that to try and hurt me. So, yeah, there's someone around here that does it all the time too. But anyway, I just have to think to myself, I'm just so glad that I'm not like you, and that, you know, that's how I have to look at it. I'm so glad that I'm not like these people, because I can't imagine ever hurting someone like that in that way. It's just unfathomable to me to do that. But anyway, this is what these people are doing, and the abuse is very cruel. It's severe. I'm going through this on a daily basis, all day, every day. On top of going through this cruel torment, I've got this woman breathing this cigarette smoke into my house 24 hours a day. I need this. This is my main thing that I want stopped right now. And I'm not going to stop crying out about this, because this is just not on. No one has the right to try and affect another person's breathing by breathing this disgusting secondhand smoke. It's been in her filthy lungs, and she's breathing it out into my home. And then I've got to breathe it in. So, yeah, I hope she's watching, because if you are, believe me, she would be watching, because she never takes her eyes off me, ever. She's obsessed with hurting me. It's her favourite thing. So, yeah, if you're watching me right now, just know that I am never, ever going to give up on bringing you to justice. I'm not going to give up until you are held accountable for the abuse that you have put me through over the last year, you and other neighbours. Okay? So you can continue to breathe that smoke into my house if you want to push the bar, but I'm telling you what, I'll be back on here again telling people what you're doing every single time. So I want this camera removed from my home. The Campbelltown police are watching these neighbours do this to me. They're watching this happen. This video is playing up now. The Campbelltown police are sitting there watching me suffer through this. They're watching this neighbour try and affect my health, and they're doing nothing about it because they want me to have this health episode. They want me to look crazy. These people are just trying to prolong this abuse. This is over. It finished weeks ago. You're all exposed for what you've done. You're all under investigation. But it's just like they're just trying to prolong the abuse. They're trying to keep me going through this pain and trauma and suffering. And it's like they're trying to hurry up and take my life. This is what this neighbour's trying to do. She just can't accept it. And she needs to. And the fact that she's trying to affect my physical health, not only my mental health, my physical health. And so's this other neighbour. He just won't stop either. He won't let up. He just constantly stalks me, and all day he's constantly going from one thing to the other, trying to carry out abuse. So I want this to stop. No one deserves to have to go through this. Nobody. I'm an innocent person. I don't hurt these people. All I do is stick up for myself. And I want these police in Campbelltown to do something about these people, instead of just sitting there watching me go through this. And someone needs to take responsibility for this woman and all of these neighbours and what they're doing. Not all of them, because a lot of them have stopped. There was a lot of them involved. There was only like a couple that weren't, but they still would have known it was going on. There's no way they wouldn't have. Now, a lot of the neighbours have stopped. But there are just these few neighbours that have done so much over the past year that they know they're going to jail for a very long time, and they are just trying to prolong this abuse. And all I know is that I don't have to put up with this. I do not have to breathe in this woman's secondhand smoke. So I want this to stop. I want this to stop, and I want someone to take responsibility for this, and I want this camera removed from my home, because my human rights are being abused in the most disgusting, cruel, and extreme ways that no one should have to suffer through. So thank you for watching. If you've watched this to the end, if you know anyone that's honest, that works for the justice system, or anyone that can help me in any way, bring these neighbours, bring these police, this community to justice for what they have done to me over the past year, the hospital, the health system, please reach out and let me know. My email is in the description box. There's also links to other videos in the description box that you can go back and watch if you're interested, that go into more detail about some of the abuse that I've been through over the past year here in Campbelltown. So thanks again for watching. If you can, please like or share the video. Tell your friends about what's going on here, because people need to know that this is going on in society. Thanks again, and God bless. I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.